Oh, interesting.
Or I can use the
Live from Free Admissions, this is the Gym Crashers with our special guest, George from Hound Fuel, and Dondo, of course, me, Sexy Joey, and Adam in the house. What's up, brother?
What's up? How are you, Joe? Long time no see.
Doing great, man. Doing great.
You look great.
You know, Hound.
Hound is in the house. We got George U here with us.
I was
products.
I'm sorry, I was kind of confused. I thought you meant to say Foxfire, and I was like, whoa, not Foxfire. That's where the milk used to be. Yeah.
What is that?
No, there used to be a place in the city, I think Anaheim Hills, called the Foxfire.
That's correct.
And all these
Off of
MILFs
Imperial.
and cougars and saber-tooths. Saber-tooth are older ladies.
I thought those were called snow leopards.
Well, snow leopards still.
gills.
I call them saber-tooth. And
Okay, yeah.
That was the place
Yeah.
to be when you're a young man. You want to get a little, frisky. You go to the Foxfire, and there's a hotel right next door. You can just go get your drink and then go and relax. Have a good time.
Saber-tooths because of less teeth? Like they say,
Or the long in the tooth.
Yeah. Gummers are great. But anyway, Foxhound in the house. What's
Call
up?
them gum crashers.
So welcome to the show, man.
Thank you so much. Good to be here.
We
Really
ju-
appreciate it.
We just got derailed, but we do have George U in the house. I suspect we'll get derailed multiple times.
Sounds
That
good.
makes it fun, so I'm glad that you're cool with that. But George, the cool shirt, the cool
Appreciate it.
brand, nutritional stuff. This is workout based.
Yes.
How'd you come up with the name Hound Fuel?
Hound Fuel. So there's two stories. There's the brand story is our slogan is train hard, stay sharp. And so if you take the name Foxhound, you put it into two separate pieces. You got the fox, which is like a quick, sly animal that's tricky and outthinks its opponents. So they're stay sharp. And you got a hound, which is like a hunting dog. And that's the train hard function. If you ever went hunting with a dog, they're kind of on the trail of their target and they kind of stay on it until they get it. So
That's actually pretty unique. I like that. And you're absolutely right. Both of those things put together make a fierce opponent to each other. But if they're going for the same damn thing,
Right.
accomplishing things.
hopefully it's something synergistic. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it is. I mean, there's no hunting without a fox and a hound.
That's right. There you go.
Yes,
Yeah.
they work together pretty well. Is this a venture that you started alone, or
Yes. Yeah, I started this alone. I guess the genesis of this is, so we were just talking about riding bicycles. So
Yes.
before I was racing fairly consistently in triathlons up until I think end of 2018. I did the full distance Ironman triathlon. And during that time frame, we'd go out and like bike 120 miles a day or something. And so sports nutrition, especially with those like 8-hour workouts or whatever, that was absolutely critical. You meet another triathlete or a cyclist. It's like, what bike do you ride? And then the second or third question is like, what do you do for nutrition? 2019, I had a kid, so I couldn't do that anymore. And so I've always wanted to like train martial arts. So I started training Muay Thai for fun. I'm not fighting or anything.
Regardless, it's a bone-crushing sport.
It's yes.
For you
literally.
to choose Muay Thai first is ballsy.
Well, I take it relatively easy, but I had the endurance background, so
It's awesome.
the workouts came okay to me. But when I looked around in class, I noticed everyone's pretty wiped at the end of class, and everyone's, instead of you're outside running or biking, you're all inside in one location, so people are sweating out like crazy. And at the end of class, everyone's either drinking Gatorade or water, and before class, they're drinking like Red Bull or Monster, which
Coffee.
no, definitely no disrespect to energy drinks, but I was shocked there wasn't something more specific. So I started messing around with some ingredients that I kind of knew had worked well for me, and wanted to create something that is very applicable for the full training cycle, before, during, and after. That tasted good, most important, because honestly, at the end of the day, if it doesn't taste good, no one's gonna take it.
It's a fact.
And then the other thing is, if even if you weren't working out but you were to consume it, it would still be a positive for you. It wouldn't be like a traditional pre-workout where if you take it and you don't go work out, you kind of end up shaking the rest of the day and feeling weird.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. You don't have to burn it off, but it probably helps you focus, though. So
Right.
College,
Exactly. Especially
college
the
students
matcha.
beware. Right?
Yeah, especially the pre-workout.
I love matcha.
I appreciate that. Good.
This was really cool. George has given me everything, and I've tried it. So yeah, it's been a very good week. I'm actually here to talk and not to fall asleep.
So are those three different flavors you have up
Love
there?
these.
There are 3 different flavors and 3 different products. So I guess we're a little explicit. I'll turn this a little so you can see the green.
Get it.
It was a little explicit on the. Oh, it's a green screen, so you can't see the green on this.
Oh, that's right.
I was like, why is that
This
black?
the one.
Where'd it go?
No, it's all good. Well, anyway, this is a pre-workout. This is during. This is post. Some of the active ingredients. This one's primarily matcha green tea, electrolytes, and B vitamins. This is coconut water, electrolytes, and B vitamins for during. This one is a post-workout. It's BCA, glutamine, so the amino acids, and then there's turmeric plus black pepper and electrolytes.
Bomb.
Exactly. And we stay away from like sucralose or some of the fillers like maltodextrin. We stay away from any added colors or any added flavors. The cool thing about it, I think, is like the packaging. It's all, you got a green, a blue, and a pinkish. The colors of the products themselves actually very much resemble the packaging, but we didn't have to add any color to it, because the green's the matcha and the pink, it's got a yellowish tone from the turmeric.
Very cool.
So yeah,
It's nice when things work out.
it worked out
Right?
pretty well. Yeah,
Nature's
we're very
way.
fortunate. Yeah.
It's very cool. So now doing martial arts, coming from, triathlete. It's mind-blowing, but I can see how that you can spot like certain things that might be important to combat fighters. Obviously bringing this to the table. It's huge in that you see the approach. It's not necessarily, there's a science to it. They're drinking coffee, energy drinks, things that get you going, but they're not going to get you through the day.
Right.
There's a drop off.
Right.
So this is wonderful. The team that you work with and that you probably tested these products on, how are they feeling about this? They probably love having you on the team.
You mean in terms of the athletes?
Yeah,
we work
yeah,
with? Yeah. A lot of people end up, they kind of, as we mentioned before, they end up saying we kind of just drink it all day anyway, regardless. And then sometimes people start playing with the flavors and mixing them. So
you can
it's
mix
worked out
each
pretty
thing?
well. Yeah, that's actually what I do. To be honest, rather than kind of go one at a time, I personally get a little lazy. I just dump them all in the same container, just drink it all at once.
Suicide. I like
Yeah, that's
it.
sick.
Get down.
Just go at it. But
That's good to know because the flavors are incredible. I've tried them
Appreciate
all. No, it really is. And it's more like just refreshing. I don't feel like I'm getting ready for a workout. So it's nice. You actually gave them to us at the event. We're at Submissions on the Shore. Baddest Blue over the weekend.
yes,
Right? It's wonderful.
shout out Submissions on the Shore. Yeah.
Shout out to Albert Tapia and Submissions on the Shore. Coming to you May 8th, San Pedro, so hit him up. Joe, you got a question. I see that look on your face.
I'm just curious because, with me, I'll probably bring it up in my segment, but I just fresh off of surgery. Now I'm taking all my B vitamins and everything I'm supposed to take, vitamin D, everything you think of. Now, the one that I believe you said that was the green one.
Yeah.
Doesn't have any like crazy effects where I'm going to be getting the jitters and getting all crazy shaky?
No, so the main source of caffeine is from matcha green tea. I guess the additional benefit of matcha is, aside from the antioxidants, there's a compound in there called L-theanine, and so that's kind of known as like a calming agent.
Okay.
So you got, I guess the buzzy term is like, it's like a calm focus.
Yeah.
So instead of, being super wired and jittery, you're kind of calm when you approach whatever you do, when you take it. And so this idea came from when people were saying they would take pre-workouts and they go spar, and they would just go nuts for one round and then kind of just fall off the cliff.
Jeez.
So I wanted something with like more of a smooth energy curve.
Yeah.
Mostly designed for people who have to like drill and spar.
Okay.
That was a very big difference for me personally when I started training Muay Thai from triathlon, where triathlon it was just like, okay, go out and run 20 miles. Right? It was very difficult, but it didn't require much mental thought, to be honest. But then all of a sudden, when I'm having to like do combinations and then trying to throw a switch kick and all that stuff, and remembering that in the middle of kind of tangoing with another person, I realized that kind of having that mental component baked into the products was very important.
Okay. Cool.
Running 20 miles. Where do you go mentally? I mean, 2 miles, 3 miles, and
Yeah.
I'm ready to take a nap. So where do you say there's not a mental component? Is there a shut off switch?
It depends. I think in the heat of training, because, so I guess I had a fantastic triathlon coach taking me through the process, but the race itself is a 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike ride, and then a 26.2 mile run. Right? That's the full Ironman race.
Got it.
And so to train for that obviously takes a lot of hours. So when, I guess similar to martial arts, you always want to train specific to whatever you're doing. So when we're training, it's very specific. So, no music. When I run the 22 miles, sometimes it's after a bike ride. And so also like no music, I just have my watch, no stopping. If there's a red light or something, I just turn the corner and make sure to kind of keep it going. And just keep an eye on the watch, make sure the pace is on.
So I can't even imagine. So we share a similar musical taste.
Yes.
How do you get through this type of a workout with no music? Because music's almost imperative.
On a treadmill, I need it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. On a treadmill, this was way back when I would, when I had this old crappy treadmill with a clock that didn't work, and I think my Walkman, this was a while back when I was doing long distance running, but I knew Master of Puppets was about 8 minutes and 30 seconds or so. And so I would sing it to myself in my head, and I was like, all right, if I sing this Master of Puppets to myself 5 times, that's 40 minutes on the treadmill.
And that's without the Walkman on or with it on?
That's without.
So,
So that's how I judged my timing.
So you don't have music to pump you up, but it's in you.
Yeah.
That's kind of amazing. That's pretty cool. So
That is true, because when I go for my walks, I
Yeah.
have a YouTube channel where I have a playlist. And so when I get back to the office, I actually go back to the YouTube channel and calculate all the times of the first song to the last song, and that determines
Right.
if I'm getting better each week, with the songs are getting shorter and
interesting.
shorter. So
have you ever walked 20 miles in your life? Not I mean this week.
no, I haven't.
Anybody in
well,
the room?
No.
20 miles,
20
anything?
miles?
20 miles on a bike? 20
Yeah,
miles on
I
a
was
bike?
about to say.
Anybody? Yeah?
I got to give credit to this guy coach. I'll give him a short plug. If anyone does triathlon, Scott Cheney, just excellent game plan with everything. But at the peak of training, Saturday I was out riding 120 miles. Sunday was the 22-mile run. Monday was a rest day, and then we were kind of back at it.
So even on a 120-mile bike ride, no music? That's a long
That
ride.
was no music.
I don't drive 120 miles without music.
That was a challenging one because I candidly don't like cycling. And I did it in a way to simulate the race. So I found a very boring path on the LA river trails. I knew there was one point where you start down in Whittier, you go all the way to the top of Azusa, about 20 miles. So I go up
Rough.
and down. That's one loop, and I do that 3 times.
Wow.
And that's what I would do with minimal stopping.
And mentally, because we all have like that movie playing in our head. Sometimes I can't go to sleep because I shut the movie off. But you're on a bicycle. You got to
Yeah.
watch for crazy ass people driving up and down Azusa Canyon there.
So there's no cars, but there was a pretty bad homeless encampment. And so once there was a lady kind of, here's the bike trail. I can see myself. Here's the bike trail, and
Yep.
then there's kind of like some homeless encampments. There was one lady, probably, not all there,
Certainly.
was sweeping giant rocks in the middle of the trail, and so I hit my bike. I hit the brakes, flipped over, ate it. Fortunately, it wasn't too bad. This was at mile 96.
Jesus.
Dusted off, got back on, did the remaining 24.
Wow.
And then kind of called it a day.
I'm blown away.
But it was, I just great coaching, right? He just kept me to the plan.
Also, you got some mental fortitude.
That's what I'm curious. Yes, I'm so curious. A man starts his company. He's able to do triathlon. He's able to do Ironman level triathlon. I mean, yeah, there's something to be said for George. You be recognized right now.
No, I appreciate it. It's all good coaching.
I like that you say that, but man, I've had good coaches, and I am not a good student. Not to that extent. That's something else, and it makes me wonder. 20 miles running. That's a tough one. 120 miles on a bike, and then how much was the swim?
2.4. So the full race you hop in the water at like 8 a.m. 2.4 mile swim. I got out hour 10 minutes. Got on the bike about a little over 6 hours, and then you start running the marathon. I was like 3 hours and 40 minutes or so.
How many times around Huntington Pier is 2.4? 4 times? Seems like it's a half a mile.
How many times around Huntington Pier?
I bet it's half a mile. So I
we
bet
used
it's
to come swimming down in the Long Beach area. There's I forgot the
Belmont.
name of the island. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
We do a 2.5 mile swim in there. There you're kind of watching out for boats and stuff.
Oh yeah, you're watching out for stuff in the water.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a different kind of swim right there. I swam there plenty. I like to swim.
Oh yeah,
I can
yeah,
swim
is
forever.
That's the
Maybe
best.
not at your pace, but I can keep going. But bike riding, man, the seat bugs me. I gotta have a cruiser. How do you get used to that? You know what I mean?
It's
the
like
seat is problematic,
Gel seat.
right?
well, so candidly, the seat actually is fairly small
Okay.
and rigid, and you kind of just get used to it.
Okay.
To be honest,
Everything kind of fits into the slot, and you're good to go.
Pretty
They design
much.
them that way.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I know they are, but you got to get used to that positioning, I think.
Yeah, I think it's mostly kind of like your butt is kind of just barely resting on it. It's not fully lodged in the
Yeah.
sensitive area.
Sure. I could imagine.
And then the other thing is it's not I know we were just talking about bicycles.
Please.
It's not like a road bike. You would think it's a time trial bike. I know. Have you guys seen those where?
Oh.
So a traditional road bike, your hands are like this on the side.
Yeah.
A time trial bike has that, but your seat is a little higher up, and then there are 2 little elbow pockets. Imagine this is the kind of the middle, the handles, and there's 2 little bars. So you're kind of bent over like this. So you're super aerodynamic.
You're in the X-wing fighter flying down the road. So when that lady
It's
swept
really
rocks,
scary.
no wonder.
It's really scary. Yeah, I'm not. Admittedly, I'm a bad cyclist, so for me it's really scary because you can't brake and you can't really turn. So you just gotta
That is unbelievable.
eyes on the road. You're like in your head's down, so you're just got your little eyeballs are up.
You're a kamikaze, bro. You just get on that bike and go. Savage.
Try,
my God.
yeah.
He is. He's on a mission. That's
Yeah,
pretty
well,
wild.
I mean-
No brakes. Yeah, same thing. Come forward. 8 limbs. You know?
Just
Well-
like 20 rounds.
So the interesting thing of Muay Thai, and it was very like, there were 2 very big things I had to change of habits. One was output, right? Because like triathlon, it's like you're going at a 70% output for however many hours, right? And you just hold 70%. You never stop. And so when they were telling me to hit the bag, I was like, okay, like jab, cross, hook, kick, right? You're supposed to go explode and then reset and explode. And I would just go 80%, and I would just jab, cross, hook, kick, and the kick would go straight into the next jab.
Yeah.
And I would just do it straight every round. And I was super exhausted.
You're an automatic weapon.
But there was, but my technique was off, and if I like Sparta or whatever, people would
Pick it apart.
light me up because I didn't have any technique. I didn't understand.
You gotta develop
any
that,
of that
yeah.
stuff. I train Muay Thai mostly remote, obviously since COVID. With there's a guy John Kim. Him and his twin brother have an Instagram, Twin Dragons. They fight MMA, but they have a fairly extensive striking Muay Thai kind of karate background.
Very cool.
Very cool. Yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's a cool place to be when you can learn one-on-one like that. It's great to spar with other people. It's actually mandatory if you're going to get out and compete.
Right.
But to get that one-on-one time, the lessons are exponential compared to being in a class where you're just getting a bit of the information.
Got it.
You know?
Got it. Yeah,
You get very fine tuned.
got it. And
You know?
admittedly, given my whole background's all endurance sports, learning technique and learning how to explode, I'm like I don't want to say learning disabled, but like it takes me longer to get up to speed.
Oh, I
And
have
so-
that same issue. Robert is like a scientific guy. He has a breakdown and a systematic way of looking at things that takes me years to adapt to. He'll tell me something one year, and I won't get it for 3 years, and go, oh, I have that down. I remember the breakdown, but it did not sink in until this very moment. We'll be watching a fight, and then I can kind of understand. He's that guy. He's a great coach in that regard, that he sees things and can teach people because he can see their body can do it, but you don't know yourself that you can do it. That's kind of
That's such a
talent.
skill.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
incredible.
always blown away by that. And he knew techniques as a white and a blue belt 10 years ago, 11 years ago, that brown belts were executing and could do that and show it. But as a white or a blue belt, you just don't know what you're doing. You go through the motion, but you don't know where those impact points are, where you're cinching something up. Of course, you know now. But looking back, he already got it. And I was like, yeah, I don't know how you knew that, but I remember you teaching me this, and now that I can execute, it's an interesting thing. And I'm always blown away by his thought process. Yes, sir.
I was about to say, like, from something of, like, to go back into, like, again, of how good actually Robert is at explaining things and coaching. Like, one of the things, like, I remember on our trip to,
Texas.
Galveston, Texas, obviously.
Tejas.
Sorry, I'm very tired from work.
Have some Foxhound Fuel, you'll wake up.
I know, right?
Get on.
But one of the things he was explaining to me was like the open door, closed door concept in the guard of jiu-jitsu and all that. And so obviously recently I started feeling better, started rehabbing my neck, started getting back, rolling in a little bit, training in slightly, taking it easy. But obviously after months, my timing's all off. I haven't rolled in forever. I'm just trying to flow roll and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh man, I got to remember my stuff. And the one thing that kept me going and like that kept me remembering and what held my defense together was that same concept that Robert had taught me. And so, like, to kind of back it up, of like Robert, like some of the things like he'll explain, if like you can get it down, like it made sense. Like I said, I hadn't rolled in months, and my movement was good by just using this little concept he explained to me, and it was like it all came back to me, like riding a bike.
It's kind of what George said, just great coaching, and if you listen to your coach,
Right.
that's what wins fights. We see that often,
Right.
People that listen to their coach, you can hear them in their corner, they execute, and they get it done because they see things we don't see. I know you got a question now. You got that look. Nothing. I never see him turn around, so I'm like, uh-oh. Oh, that's good. So now be a part of the show. We love it.
So we're
Joey.
talking about him not having energy. So maybe we can give him a sample of maybe
Yeah.
the drink.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just give him a little.
He's going to bust it out while we talk through this segment. So George is going to prepare some Foxhound Fuel. We have submissions on the shore coming up on May 8th. That is a Saturday. Check it out. Get to the website. Get to the Instagram, Facebook. We also have Gym Crashers Pro, our event. It's a 3-on-3. It's an all-male. Submissions on the shore is all-female, I believe this time. Right? Right? Pro card is always female. Then the baddest blue, they have a mixture. So Gym Crashers Pro coming up May 7th. It's a Friday night. We have our teams already designated, but we are looking to add. I know there might be 1 or 2 spots. If anybody has an idea that they want to get into this, fill out the application because you can always turn us down. But we'd like to hear from you and give us a call. You can check us out at Free Admission Media, Gym Crashers, or John Dondo on Facebook, Dondo the Gym Crashers on Instagram. We want to talk to you, so we're still filling spots. Foxhound Fuel's got some stuff for us. I'm not sipping off the same glass as these monkeys, so whoever wants to come up and try it, jump on it.
There you go.
So that color looks brown on the green screen. It's actually green. No,
It's a
okay.
very
I
much-
didn't think about that.
It's true.
Yeah.
No, it's a very much more appetizing.
More
This is
Yeah.
Adam, the Bloody Breakdown Araby.
No, it's fine. I'll be on my knees down here.
Hello.
Hey now.
That's first time.
Get it.
Here, I'll go in order of like what am I supposed to do?
So this is
Okay.
the order of
Green?
the product: the pre, the during, and the post.
Okay, so
Get it.
Yeah.
And tell us
There you go.
about the flavor of green.
all right.
We're going down with the matcha. I'm a matcha
Matcha.
fan personally.
Yeah, get next to the microphone and then sip.
For people trying to get
Oh,
off
that
coffee.
sounds great.
ASMR.
Oh, actually,
Yeah.
Whoa.
ASMR for you.
wow. All right.
Do it.
You're trying to get off coffee. I say try this product because
That's for
It'll
all
keep
my
you
ASMR
going.
listeners out there, but no, it's pretty good. Like it's very like
give us the breakdown.
I don't know how to like. I'm not like too big of a tea drinker. I'm not really like a coffee drinker per se. Just by honestly, like caffeine usually gives me anxiety and stuff, large amounts. But
Not a
the thing I
teabagger.
kind of like, yeah, not one. The thing I kind of like with what you said about that, about the calming agent and all that, is like for someone like me who's like, let's say when I, you know, I got to get up early, I got to get to work at 5 a.m., but I don't want to drink coffee. I don't want to like have that crash on a slowdown. That's something that's very nice.
I don't want to pull over on the way to work. If I
Yeah,
drink coffee,
right?
I'm like,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly. And I like the taste. It's very like, I don't know. Like, I'm
Very
not a
tea?
big matcha
Satisfying?
drinker. I want to say it's like very like herbal and
Okay.
stuff. Like very.
it reminds me of a wonderful mochi.
Yeah, really. Honestly,
interesting. Okay.
that's really how I
Very
would
good.
describe it. Just like
I love mochi.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try the next one. Come on, Adam. Go. Joe.
Shoot
This
it.
is a
Shot,
mostly
shot,
coconut
shot.
water with a hint of mango in it.
Oh, okay. So
And this is the hydration during workout.
Oh, damn. He just...
Hey,
that's pretty good.
don't put booze
Yeah,
in
no,
front
that's
of them.
like. Yeah, that's like as if I was to taste like coconut water and it tasted good.
Okay,
Like
good,
that's
good.
that's what I would describe.
I
it.
love
It's mostly
coconut water.
A little bit of mango flavor.
I taste the
I was
mango
like,
in that
I was
one.
honestly just like, yeah, like flavored like coconut water is how I
Cool.
would describe that one.
Very cool.
Then we have the Recover. This is
Yeah.
the one I need right now.
Turmeric shot.
After carrying that blower for however long.
Is that what you call yourself?
On your knees.
Don't listen to Joey. Be nice to this young man. He's
At
wanted
the
in
golf
Texas.
course doing strokes.
He's wanted in Galveston, Texas for things. Don't
Oh,
don't be
Lordy.
mean to him.
That one's interesting.
They're looking for him
That
still.
one's different. That one's
Why is it
definitely
different? Why is it
Like,
interesting?
It's just
Satisfying.
you definitely can notice there's a lot more ingredients in
Right,
there. I would
right.
definitely say.
Right.
I would take a guess. Let me take a look. You have.
It's got a
glutamine,
nice finish
turmeric,
though, huh?
turmeric extract, black pepper, electrolytes. Yeah, no, I definitely taste all those, which is something.
This
like
one
very
versus
nice
a
to look
Gatorade
for.
all day long.
Easily.
I appreciate that.
Easily.
All day
no, I
long.
will say like
Bottle it.
you know the thing about Gatorade and the thing I don't like about it is like just from the amount of sugar. I feel like when you drink it, like you get so much inflammation and mucus from it.
Right.
And
right,
it's
right.
like I'm drinking this to recover from a workout.
Right, right,
Why am I giving
right, right.
myself inflammation? Which is where a product like this and things with like BCAAs, glutamine, turmeric, even you have electrolytes in there would come in really, really handy, especially for somebody like me who doesn't want to drink those Gatorades, doesn't want to get those kind of like that inflammation. Because why am I working out and then having inflammation to get injured again?
Right, right, right.
But yeah, no, I love this. Like,
I
tastes
appreciate
all
it.
very good. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
cool.
Thank
These
you,
are for
Adam.
You guys.
Yay.
Those
Appreciate you, man.
for you
We're
guys.
gonna down this. That's what's gonna keep this show going for the next month. That's how we do it. Thank you, Adam. That was cool. That was
Yeah,
a
thanks
nice
so
little
much.
breakdown because
Appreciate
George came out. We wanted someone to try it. Now we've had someone try it from our group. He looks alert. He was falling asleep a minute ago. I like it.
He's going to carry that leaf blower tomorrow like crazy.
Yes. Are you a leaf blower?
He's going to
now
be
or
blowing
what?
everything.
That's so you're like Ghostbusters, right?
He blow a blower and a blow marker.
I mark balls and then I pull weeds.
Well, hey, let's keep some stuff private. Your mom might be watching, just in case. You never know what goes on with Adam Airby. It's all good, brother. Thank you for trying that. But very subtle. There's not like a
No, it's not like overbearing.
no when
That's
you
what I like about
when you do a real strong energy drink of any sort, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into because it hits you right away. But these are very subtle and they just carry you through. So I dig it because when I go to work, sometimes I don't want to be at work, and then before you know it, I'm getting work done, and that tells you right there.
Oh, appreciate that. Okay.
That's really the truth. Robert,
The thing I liked about when I tried it is there's no funky aftertaste. It's not something that sits in my mouth forever.
that's right. You did drink them over the
Yeah,
weekend
I did.
too.
I did. I tried it. So I had it, and I didn't have any like weird medicine-y feel
That's
or
true.
any like. I mean, I drink a ton of energy drinks.
Robert does live on the energy drinks.
Okay.
He's what keeps them in business.
Got it.
I'm convinced of this.
three for $6, two for three for three $5.50.
No, but he keeps the gas stations in business.
Hey,
That's where he gets them.
I got to work till 4 a.m. Come
Right.
on.
Support your local business, right?
He sure does.
Need some
Appreciate
Foxhound
Yep.
instead of the.
Foxhound is
Yep.
calling your name,
I
buddy.
appreciate it.
No, we mean that stuff. I mean that stuff. But being such a, gosh, you must be very, very determined. I know that it's hard to describe yourself, but the things that you're involved in, these are not things that you just, they're not hobbyist. They're things you must show a certain level of dedication. Muay Thai is not your average sport. It is a bone-crushing sport. Triathlon. I mean, come on.
right,
that, There's not very many people that can even do one of those things, and yet you're doing, at a high level.
I really appreciate it. It's
crazy.
real. I gotta give again credit to the coaches.
That's
Right.
awesome.
Yeah.
So, have you done an Ironman? Because I know you've trained at that level. Okay.
That's what I was training for that
Okay.
race. Yeah. So
And you went to Kona. Is that where it's done?
no, so Kona is if you finish like at an elite level.
Okay.
Like
I knew
in the
they
top
did it
3
there.
or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. So where do they do the trials or the ones that you've done?
I did the one in Arizona. So I think, oh shoot, I think I don't quote me, maybe like 160 something people. I think I was around 39 or something, finished 39th or something within men
It's still
30
huge.
to 35 or something. But you
Nobody
gotta finish
sweats
top
in
3.
Arizona, so that's crazier. I had no
Oh, it
idea.
was November.
Okay,
So
it's still
to
pretty
be
warm
fair.
though. I have swam in December in Arizona. It stays warm year round. But yes,
It
there are
wasn't too
cold
bad,
days.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It
I
wasn't too
get it.
bad.
November is probably the best time to be doing that. So we mentioned there's no music carrying you through this, but I know in your head and your ticker, Master of Puppets, is pumping. I
Master
have
does.
to know because I got to
Yes.
rep my stuff. I don't
Yeah.
get everybody,
Yeah.
that has this, but I think there's a correlation to people that listen to heavy driven music because there's a syncopation that goes on with me especially. My wake up and my daily is that syncopation that
Right.
I can feel it. So I know what you mean. Without it playing, I can hear Master in my head all the time.
Right.
That was like a go-to for me. So I was like, oh, this guy speaks to my heart. How did you get into that? And was Master of Puppets the precursor to death metal and heavier stuff?
That's a great question. In high school, it was kind of listening to a little bit of punk here and there, and then I started learning playing guitar and got into a little bit of like Black Sabbath and Van Halen, and then I discovered like the happy marriage of the two, right? The thrash. You got that technical prowess.
I love that.
With that raw brutality, and I think where I call it almost like a my religious experience, so to speak, was Ozfest 2004. I saw Slayer for the first time live.
Do not look old enough to have seen Slayer.
I was
at
out of- I was-
Ozfest
I was just out of high
2004.
school.
Crazy.
And the context was it was Dimmu Borgir, which was like kind of like a new wave of that Norwegian black metal, very symphonic,
Yeah.
big production. Afterwards was Judas Priest, again, amazing, one of the OGs, big production. Rob Halford rides his motorcycle on stage.
Yeah.
But in between was Slayer. And when they came on, I had known Slayer. I didn't ever experience Slayer.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, everyone just starts losing their minds. And I'm like, what's going on? And so it's just 4 guys walk on stage, don't say a word. There's not much production. And they just rip for 45 minutes straight. Tom Morai goes, thank you, I'll see you in hell, and walks off. And I think my
And he
brain
means it.
melted.
Yeah.
I had never seen something so raw and brutal.
I can tell you this. I saw them in LA. It must have been the Olympic Auditorium. And this is 10 years prior
Yeah.
to that. 12, maybe more, 2004. It's in the 80s.
Okay.
So
okay.
it's way before that. And if you didn't know, and I loved them, I knew Haunting the Chapel. I knew
Okay,
Hell
yeah.
Awaits. Hell
Yeah,
Awaits
Hell-
was,
right.
and then Rain and Blood was just coming out. And if you're standing in an auditorium with 3,000 people, and all of a sudden 2,999 of those people, minus yourself, start going in that direction, it's
Right.
like being in Thailand when the tsunami's
Right,
coming.
right,
You
right.
want to run for the hills because all of a sudden that circle comes around,
Right.
and you don't have a choice. There's no place.
Right.
And that thing, and it just, you got ran over.
Right. That was a
And
force of
there's
nature.
nowhere to go.
Right.
And it's he's just following Dave Lombardo's drums.
That double bass.
Yes.
And he was the
there's-
first to have the 2 double basses so
was
that it would
incredible.
resonate.
It sounded like a machine gun. But yes, you get ran over.
Right. right.
Or you run against them and just be brave. But
Right. And that's when I was like out of high school, I was like 125 pounds,
Yeah.
just getting wrecked.
you need to be that. It's easier because you're going to be out of breath. You can find yourself hyperventilating if you're bigger. I see bigger
Oh,
guys. They
interesting.
gotta
Okay.
leave. Yeah, bigger guys got to leave. They got to actually leave the auditorium because you got less oxygen. More people are sucking in oxygen. It's in a cramped space. Everyone's got their fists flying, knees jabbing,
Right.
crashing into you. So the bigger folks, they can last for 5 minutes. They got to go get
Oh,
air.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So the
Right.
buck 25ers are running the show on each other's shoulders, jumping off the
Right,
stage.
right.
But that's triathlete stuff in itself. If you can last 45 minutes through a set, right?
There's the endurance athlete part of it.
I like it. I like that you mentioned all the newer stuff like Dimmu Borgir. Gosh, I even love In Flames. You know?
Yes.
My
They
heart's
got
in
that.
that stuff.
They take the old school Swedish death metal like at the gates and kind of put their own twist on it. I think.
I wonder if that type of just that attachment to who you are rhythmically helps you get through a triathlon.
I'm gonna be honest. It was just good coaching, good
Yeah.
game plan.
You go right
It
back
was
to
just
it.
good coaching, good game plan.
I'll take your word for that. But I find it hard to believe that people that are on the lighter end of listening can find it within themselves. You know what I mean? Because there's something.
Oh, interesting. Right. Because the journey to kind of go from whatever's playing on MTV
Yes.
into like the Black Dahlia murder or
Yeah.
whatever. Right.
Yeah,
Goat
Goat
one of my
Horror.
favorite bands.
Yeah. Black Dahlia, I saw them actually.
Oh, is
was
that right?
He asked me what my most, my favorite show or most life affirming show. I forget how you
Yeah.
posed it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was seeing Black Dahlia was there.
No way,
Death
okay.
Angel was there. It was Knotfest, 2016.
Oh, that's right.
And yeah, it was mayhem. It's crazy.
That is incredible.
It's one of those things you come out of feeling like you had sparred.
Yes.
You know, so you're like,
Yeah.
I'm all jacked up, but you know, I'm gonna go home and try to
On
recover.
top of the adrenaline, right?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
come out and when everything comes there, like, oh, this kind of hurts.
I'll admit something. I knew I was old when I left that show. I didn't understand what people were wearing. I'm like, oh, I've got to that generation where I don't recognize this.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it must have been like the EDC people or something had
Oh,
gone over to the
okay.
hardcore stuff. I'm like,
Right.
what's that?
Right.
You know,
right.
I didn't know you could wear clothes like that and run around in a circle with your fists flying in
Right,
people's
right.
faces. But there
That's
were
one of the
people-
shirts where like neon cartoon characters.
Yeah,
Is that right?
Funky stuff.
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
there. I witnessed it at that show. I said, I never seen that before. I don't know if you ever seen that.
No, I've seen that plenty of times. I've been in plenty of mosh pits. I've got shoes thrown in my face. I had
Oh,
a
is that right?
free CD that flew across the arena and hit my head. I didn't know it hit my head, and I started scratching my head, and it was blood, so it had to take me out,
Oh,
wrap my
no.
head up, and I went back in and give it hell again. So it was fun.
Agnostic Front, 1986. I was 14. I had braces.
Oh no.
And Sean and I grew up in the same neighborhood, and there were these kids that lived on our street, the street where Sean actually lives on now. I'm trying to remember his name. Greg and Chris. They were brothers. And they were, and obviously Sean and I are darker skinned, you know, Latino-looking fellows. And I was at a show where it was Agnostic Front had a big skinhead crowd. Guy comes
Oh,
flying off
right,
the stage,
right.
kicks my braces off
Oh,
my face because I'm a
no.
kid and I'm smiling.
And he had those boots, probably.
Yeah, big old boots, kicked my braces off my face.
Oh,
And then I see
no.
these arms. And it was the older brother, the kid that lived on our corner. Boom!
Oh.
And he threw like one of those big rights and just knocked the guy out. And I see him laying on the floor and he picks me up with his arm and just puts me back on my feet. My braces are hanging. I'm like, I don't even recognize the guy. This is
Oh,
a unique
man.
thing. You're 14 years
Right,
old.
right,
You're probably
right.
not even supposed to be there. I probably snuck in.
Right.
And I just slapped him a high five, realized it was my neighbor, peeled my braces off because the wires were all coming off. And I didn't even know he was into the music. You know what I mean? But he saved my ass. But he was in this gang back then called the LA Death Squad. They were
Okay.
called the Lads. And they would always go to those shows because Suicidal happened to be wearing the shirt. Right? Because Suicidal brought the gang element. They were a cholo gang, and he was a white guy, a white cholo. Well, I guess in American Me, there was a white cholo, wasn't there? Yes.
There's always one. There's always one in the group.
That was one thing. So that connecting my fight roots with
Interesting.
music and everything.
Got it.
I talked about this on other podcasts. That I could say that was my beginning. That and my love for surfing in Hawaii because you have to fight in Hawaii. You have no choice.
Oh, okay.
Hawaii they like to mix it up.
Okay.
That's how they solve their problems, and then you go to lunch. You
Okay.
know? It's not like here where you hold a grudge or you go call the police and you have a lawsuit. Over
Okay.
there, you
That's
duke
kind
it
of flow of
out.
life.
Yeah, Hawaii,
Okay.
you duke it out, and then somebody buy you a plate lunch.
Okay. That's good.
Not quite.
No, we just try again the next day.
Oh, try again. Yes. So you might have lost, but you tried again. I could see
Not
that.
not 1, 2, but 3 days.
Treat. Yeah.
We keep going until we figure out it's impossible, but that never happens. We just keep going at dummies.
I think Robert has got that in him. He's probably the nicest person you'll ever meet. Probably too nice, actually, to the point where I have to stop him from being nice. But you cross that line, and I can't stop him. He has that switch. Once that switch hits, forget it. And it's gonna be.
It's usually at the buffet line though.
Yes, that too. Lately, that's only since he's reaching around 40-ish. He wasn't that way when he was younger. I think it calms him down. But I do know once he's fired up, you can't stop him. You don't even want to get in his way, right? He'll dent your car. He's one of those guys, But he is the mild-mannered reporter. He's not Superman until you piss him off. Right? He's Clark Kent almost all the time. But yes, getting back, I stray. But
No.
I love that you have that. So talking about Slayer, you can't top that. I know they're retired now.
I know.
Yeah, we got to that point. Who carries the flag? That's the last music question I want to know. Where do we go from here?
Who carries the flag musically?
Yeah.
Like the next generation.
What do you think? What do you think's going to happen? I'm curious.
You know who's a band that I've been very fascinated with?
BTS.
What is that?
Is that the?
I don't know what that is.
That's the Korean group. Okay.
Oh, I don't know. I eat Korean barbecue. I don't listen to their music.
A little bit on the topic of a little poppy. You know, Ghost BC.
Yeah, of course I love Ghost.
I listened when when the guy behind it had to reveal himself.
Yes, Tobin.
Tobias Forge.
That's
right.
That's it.
I'd seen them a few times. I saw them
Yes.
open for Iron Maiden.
Yes.
All back.
They're going to carry the flag for everybody, I think. You're absolutely
He
right.
was saying he saw the opportunity where a lot of these bigger bands seemed like they were kind of on the verge of retiring,
Yes.
and there needed a new arena name needed to come in the picture, and it couldn't be something too aggressive or death metal. So he kind of filled the gap in the market, so to speak.
Ghost is freaking awesome.
I think they're great.
I can't get enough of it.
You guys should do your own podcast. Like
A metal show?
Americans that love heavy metal.
Yeah, because when I go to the shows, I'm the only one.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm the only. Well, before it got a little better.
No, literally, if you come from Orange County, LA, Riverside, San Diego, I've noticed that if it's death metal, it's all Mexicans.
Oh, okay.
It's
right.
all like South American, Latin American, or Mexican people.
Right.
What about grindcore?
Same thing.
And Mexico
Grindcore.
City is big, man.
No, I know. That's what
That's
I'm trying to say. Like, it's huge. Elsewhere, in the United States, it's almost like they don't get it.
Right.
But globally,
Right.
it is an eclectic thing. You'll find very knowledgeable people of
Right.
all walks of life, and then they'll throw you the devil horns. You're like,
Right.
You're the conductor of the train. You're not going to kill us, are you?
Separate. Total separate story. I know we're almost out of time, but
No, we're
I
cool.
spent I'd spent a while back. I spent 10 months backpacking by myself around the world.
I got to know about this. Where'd you start?
Okay, so I started in Bogota, Colombia, and then went all the way down.
You start in Bogota. You're lucky to make it out. That's the perception. So it wasn't like that at all.
No, not at all. No, so Colombia was not only a place where like everyone was noticeably more friendly and receptive and open. It felt like a lot of the people they were very aware that it was a very difficult past, especially with Pablo Escobar and all that stuff.
Sure.
And so if they saw someone that was, a visitor, especially in the town of Medellin.
Was it during the time of the
No,
movie?
it was probably decades after.
Whoa.
No, but they are very aware and cognizant of that. So they want to make sure when you do visit that is not the impression you have.
That's cool.
So people were super cool. But on the topic of metal, you walk around, someone's wearing a Sodom shirt, you see an Overkill shirt.
Right, that's the
all
old
this
stuff,
stuff.
right?
Yeah.
Creator. Right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the big three of German thrash. right?
Yeah. Who's the other one?
Overkill, Destruction.
Destruction.
No. Creator, Sodom, and Destruction.
Destruction, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 80s stuff. I love that stuff. But you're right. In Latin American countries, it's their go-to.
Yeah.
I was going to say Bible, but they're heavily Catholic. But
Right, so it's the juxtaposition's interesting.
yeah.
Right? Yeah,
I think it has to exist because
you need an opposing force.
You do, and then it makes it come alive on its own. You're absolutely right, and that's probably the key. Even in Europe, because every center of town in Europe, just like in South America, there are churches. That's the
Right.
center of town.
Especially Germany,
We
where the
don't
most
do that here.
aggressive of the
Yes.
thrash comes from.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure they kind of preceded everybody. I know we don't give them credit, but you're right.
And
They were heavy
they
as
have
fuck.
they have
Accept
Wacken
even did it. Yeah, vodka.
They have Wacken.
Oh,
The big festival.
Vakken, yes. I said vodka. Yes, I'm into vodka too. Vakken is big. I've not been. I'll be there in the summer, and I'll try to go to, I forget what it's called, but it's in Eindhoven, Holland.
Okay.
I'm going to try to go this summer. I'll be over there. I don't know if it'll sync up with one of those festivals, but I'll do my best. So I have my hopes. Did you go to a festival? Like
Not
a
when
European?
I was traveling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did. I have been to a European festival. It was Sonosphere in Greece in
Oh, that's huge.
2010 because
You're
that's when
killing
the
me.
Big Four was playing together the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
time.
Yeah.
So it was Anthrax, Megadeth, Slayer, Metallica. I
You're
was like,
killing
oh.
me, George. Jesus. We're separated at birth. I love this stuff. So from Bogota, where did you go to next?
So pretty much Colombia and made my way down the west coast of South America and pretty much ended up in Antarctica because you can get on a boat.
So you basically did Che Guevara's trip, the motorcycle diaries.
A little bit.
He's telling me doing my Uncle Che's stuff.
I don't support communism. Not to get political. I'm not.
Yes.
Not into communism.
Yes,
but,
yes.
I can appreciate what he did.
Yes.
Was in Antarctica and then went back up, kind of through Argentina to Brazil. Stopped over in Spain, went through Nepal, India, China, Korea, Australia, New Zealand. Came back home. So that was 10 months.
We're going to have to
by
talk
myself.
about this a little bit more. I love this.
That might, another conversation.
But that's an amazing one. I'm blown away. But this tells me the depth of. I know you say you shut it off, but I think that your wheels are always spinning.
A little bit.
I can see that. And Foxhound Fuel is a product that has become something because of George's dedication to, life, the things he aspires to do at any level. I realize he's going to call himself a hobbyist. I think he's well beyond that. But, when you develop something of this quality and this caliber, you've had to have had a lifetime of experience to bring this forth and say, hey, I want people to do this. It'll make you feel better. That's a big deal.
I appreciate it.
And we felt it here. So I appreciate that. I want to say thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Our friendship starts right here, brother. I mean it, man.
Thank you so much.
Oh, man.
Really appreciate it.
It's been awesome. I see him at jiu-jitsu events. We got events coming up, so I know we will see you again soon. We're going to talk again. We got a whole other show. We got a whole other podcast to start. So, George, thank you so much.
Sounds good. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Joey the Bull, Adam Araby, come on up. They're going to do their segments. This is Gym Crashers. I don't know if you got a commercial coming up or anything. No? We're going to bring them up. It's Joey's Bottom that's going to be the commercial. As you see it turn around, it becomes a different show entirely. So, Joey and Adam, take over. Let's do the bull first.
All right. Yeah, buddy.
All right.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I mean, our guest, let me tell you right now, he's the man. He left us with some samples. I mean, look at this. Bang. Look at this. Bang. Also stickers. You can put this on your forehead. I mean, look at this.
Get this exclusive
It's amazing.
Foxhound
Look at this.
apparel.
Samples all day. So, what's up, man?
Nothing much, Joey. How have you been?
I've been great. I've been healthy. I've been doing my thing. I've been, watching my life change every week.
That's amazing to hear, Joey.
But, I gotta say something.
We need to know the success that you've had. So you started at 420, is that right? 440?
Well, I was 430 before my surgery. Back in October, I was 470, almost 500 pounds. And then after that, surgery's been done since I think the end of February. I weighed myself yesterday. Now I'm down to 360. But during those times, I've been walking a lot, exercising. I just finally bought myself some weights at home. So I got myself some 20-pound dumbbells because, the doctor said you can't go over any of that because I'm still freshly stitched. So I was working out, doing my thing, and still pumping iron, and I'm happy I'm pumping iron again. And then probably in 2 weeks, I'll be able to hit the heavy bag and hopefully start rolling around. That means, rolling with folks.
Your shirt looks a little looser.
Yeah, it's still got ways to go. A little snug, got a little boob action still going on, but it's all good. I've been feeling a lot different. I jump in the shower, I look at myself, I'm like, damn, I could see my toes, I could see everything without the belly being in the way too much. Clothes, like I said, I bought myself a couple of new T-shirts, button downs, and they're.
Were you down to 3X? Because we were 5X a minute ago.
Right now, I'm working on the 4X. Eventually, probably by say next month, I'll be down to a 3X. So it's going crazy, man. And I've been taking my vitamins, doing my drinks. I said my prayers too.
It's good to pray.
I said my prayers. And man, and now I'm in my third phase, starting this week, of now I'm eating small portions of meats and like protein, like fish and chicken,
Nice.
but cut down on like small pieces. But like I said, I was training myself this Sunday. I went to Wahoo's and got myself one of those grilled chicken salads from Wahoo's. So bomb, and I only ate a quarter of that because I was like full after like maybe 4 or 5 bites. And I was a good full. I wasn't like, oh man, there's all this salad left over. I got to eat it still. No, I was satisfied. And so the rest of the salad, I just packaged up and just have it the next day until it was gone.
How does that mentally feel, Joey, now that it's like, let's say before, maybe you eat the whole salad, maybe you're still hungry, you want to eat more and more, versus like being satisfied and being like, no, I'm good here. And being like, just feeling that physical difference of where you're not like overgorging yourself and you're not consuming like past your need of consumption.
And that was the issue. Good question. That was the issue because I'm a man that loves to eat, and I'll eat beyond where I'm just like I can't move anymore. Mm-hmm. And now that my stomach's brand new and I eat what I can, I don't try to push myself because I don't want to be that person that you hear stories of people getting the surgery and eventually blowing up again because I'm not trying to go back to that route. So when I eat, I'm eating until I'm like good and I'm happy. I'm not trying to force myself that for the the last bite. Like once I have that one bite and I know I'm getting full, I stop, push the plate away, put it away, and I'm off for for a walk or just sit back and relax, watch some TV, chug down some either water or some type of juice. And but yeah, I mean it's a huge difference.
How would you say you feel like? How much better do you feel now that I would say your relationship with food has changed? Versus like like we all do. We all love food. We all love to eat. I think every person does. If you don't love food, then you're just not even human. Yeah.
No, I mean honestly,
but even like like super disciplined guys, like the great Joe Rogan and all that, he just came out and said, I'll eat past consumptions. I have to stay disciplined in my diet and everything, or I'll just go off the rails. And we've seen that out of great athletes. Even a guy like Jorge Masvidal. When you used to look back in like the Game Bread Diary days, you see him like back in his early Strikeforce days. He's like getting up, eating brownies, cookies, and milk as a professional athlete. So we all love food, but how would you say like? How much better do you feel now that your relationship with food has changed to one where it's more about fuel. It's not about pleasure, but more about making you feel better.
It does, and it's training myself back to how I used to be back then. Because honestly, when I got a little older and didn't give a shit about life, and I started eating like crazy, and now that I feel like I'm training myself again how I used to eat. By the help of the surgery, which a lot of people say, well, you shouldn't, whatever. I'm happy now. I'm great. I'm training myself. I'm mentally ready. I could drive by a fast food joint and be like, oh, I used to love getting those cheeseburgers or chicken nuggets or a big old fat burrito with like 10 other tacos next to that burrito. I don't feel that pressure anymore. Honestly, I used to go to Del Taco, get a macho combo burrito with 3 bean burritos with 4 tacos and a big fry. That's all for me.
Hang on. A macho combo burrito, that's the big one.
Yeah, and of course
3 side burritos.
3 side burritos, 4 tacos, and a big old macho fry.
A gallon of Coke.
And a big Coke. And that used to be like me at nighttime when.
That's about a 6,000 calorie meal.
And I could drive by these places.
As much as I eat in a week.
And I can drive by these places now, and it doesn't affect me.
How many times a day would you do that size of a meal when you're really, really eating? Was that a 2 time a day? Because you can't digest all that in that quick.
No, I used to do it like every other day, like every Tuesday night. When I used to leave from here, and I used to drop them off. I used to
So
go.
you did that recently? I thought this was when you were hurting.
No, I did it recently. I used to go before, like I was figuring I didn't eat anything. I was hungry, so either I go to Del Taco and get myself that little meal.
So it was a regular type of meal.
Yeah, that little meal at the time for me, I thought it was a little meal. But even like before that, when I used to come here, I used to go to Wendy's and get myself one of those bacon Big E burgers with the fries and drink, and sit in the parking lot and just eat it right there. And in a way, I was mentally, it didn't feel good, but it tastes so good. But in a way, I know I was doing my body wrong, and it was kind of sad a little bit, because I'm thinking to myself, why am I eating this shit? But it's so good because I need it, because it's just it's like almost like the flavor they put in the burger is like crack. And
it's an addiction.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's like anything else. It's like this is your relief to make you feel good, even though in reality it's hurting you, like anything else. And I'm not saying like not to like single you out. Or
no, it's all good.
It's like we all have this type of relationship, especially the Americans in general. We all love food, and we all even eat when we're bored. Like,
no, of course.
It's like when you get out of that mindset, like you were saying, of like where you're eating for pleasure, you don't feel good. You're not gonna feel good, especially when you're eating things like, we go to Wendy's and fast food. You're drinking, the big drink with all that amount of sugar, so you're getting that rush. But in reality, like we said, when you eat over amount of sugar, it leads to bad mental health, depression, bad stuff.
And
versus eating right and getting the right like vitamins from a good healthy diet. And look at it. In weeks and months, Joey, you've completely changed your whole perspective.
Yeah, it's April, so you've been going at it now 2 months.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
And it's crazy because the fact that I can tell people, let's go eat. I'm fine. I could have myself a little salad or a little bowl of soup or something that's not going to hurt my stomach. Well, everybody can have their, fat meals. It's not going to bug me at all. Because like I said, if it was Joey 3 months ago, I'd be like, hell yeah. I mean, let me have this meal. Then I'm going to order top of this, I'm going to order top of that, and then pound some drinks down. And now that I'm eating right, my energy level's a lot crazy. I feel like how I used to be. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, you're because you're on this diet kick and you're losing all this weight. You think you're." I go, I used to be like this 10 years ago. I used to be the guy that used to go to the boxing gym for 5 hours a day. I used to be the guy that used to hit the bag and train and coach, and that's where that mentality is coming back to me. It's not because, I just got my surgery done that I'm Mr. Healthy Guy. It's not like that anymore. That's how I used to be back in the day. I'm just now losing the weight, and all that mentality is coming back to my head again. So therefore, when I get the okay to start hitting the bag, because right now I got the okay to lift weights, but now you get the okay to hit the bag and start rolling around, I'm going to be a different animal. It's not because I'm trying to school people and tell people, oh, you're doing wrong just because I got the surgery. Because a lot of people think that, just because you got the surgery, you think you're Mr. No. I used to be like this way in the past about being healthy.
Are you concerned with injury? Because that's the number one detractor from exercise is people sustain injuries. And your body's going through a huge change. And if you're going to do combat sports of any sort, there's a potential or, a likelihood really of injury.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to stop you in your tracks.
Oh, no, I know.
You might want to consider just doing regular exercise to have some sustainability.
Oh, no, I know I'll get injured. I mean, there's a video. I'm not sure if, Robert, did you get that video I sent you through a messenger? If you want to play it real quick. This is a little injury I had last night. I caught it on my ring cam. It's very unfortunate.
You hurt yourself pooping?
No. It's a video I sent. It's pretty sad because I was walking my dogs that night, and I was climbing up the steps. I took a slip, and I hit the rail on my chest. Oh. Now, I sent my wife this video, and she laughed all day. She played it 15 times. She sent it to her coworkers. She can't stop laughing about it. It's like a blooper video.
Does your boob hurt?
And my chest hurts a little bit, but like here we go. I think if we put the sound up, you hear me go crazy. But I do take a fall. If people in the audio land of watching this podcast can probably see it happen. So it happens pretty quick. If you had to rewind it from the beginning and.
Oh, this is on your doorbell?
Yeah, my door cam. Here you go. Look at.
Okay.
Okay, walk up the steps. Oh shoot!
Oh.
Oof.
No. Imagine if you're trying to do a combat sport.
What broke my fall right there was a rail. If that and my titty, I kid you not, my titty was hurting. Look at my hand was hurting because the reason why my hand was hurting is
very
because
defeated.
Well, because dude, when I was trying to
you lost that round.
I don't want to cry. Look at him. My lady comes out. Are you okay?
I think you lost that fight.
No, watch. I come up the steps and I was trying to get my balance on the rail. My hand slips and so my chest hits the rail. So watch. Look at this again. What? Oh no, you had to rewind it again. I think you went to. Here we go. I'm climbing up. My chocolate slipped on my boom. My fucking chocolate went under me. Do it again one more time for the audience to see this again. Look at watch. Please. My fucking chocolate. Whoa. You hear the noise? Watch. Play with the audio.
What is that noise?
The rail. Dude, if that rail wasn't there, I would have found those damn bushes where I live. Okay, look, he's repleting.
Where did you walk? 2 miles?
All I can imagine is like
the boomerang. He's boomeranging it right now.
No, all I can imagine is like that one talk, like those TikToks of like people falling.
Enough, Robert. Enough.
What made you that tired? Because you look exhausted.
No, okay. Well, that day, that yesterday, at work, I usually go for a nice half an hour walk at work. Where I work in Corona. I walk the whole entire industrial block, and it's a good workout. Well, when I got home, my wife and I, we just had dinner, I believe. And then after that, she was like, let's go for a walk. So we decided to go walk out of our condo complex and walk the whole entire block. That means because where we live, of course, like where he lives, there's a lot of hills. So going downhill was great. Coming back up the hill, it gets a little tiring, but I have a little energy now. I'm not huffing and puffing. But of course, it was late at night. I was taking the girls out, but I wasn't really tired. What happened was I was walking up the steps, and my chancla, my flip-flop, slipped out of my foot. Oh. And so when it slipped, that's when you hear the big old boom. So and I was trying to grab onto the rail. My thumb went like this, and the rail's right here. Boom. So
you hyperextended and like jam your thumb.
Well, I'm not going to freaking walk with chocolates again. I mean, that's the problem.
So do you find that there's a different balancing factor in your life? Because you don't weigh what you used to. It's happening very rapidly. So you might not be centered. So
it's true. Very true. I mean,
I'm just curious because 100 pounds is a lot of weight.
No, it is true. I mean, I feel like, sometimes I think I'm still at 400 and some pounds because the way I walk and the way I balance. But now that I'm losing more weight, my feet are I'm getting a lot quicker with my actions. Problem is, I'm still kind of had to learn to walk again, learn how to maintain my stance again. You know, like I can't wait to buy a jump rope because that's like in 2 weeks I get to jump rope too.
Oh, that'll change you.
So-
That's what you should be focusing on, that kind of thing.
So in 2 weeks I'll be jumping. Now combat sports, I'm not looking to get with somebody and spar with them. I'm just gonna go hit the bag. If I do some light rolling, I want to do some light rolling. I'm not gonna to the point where the guy's gonna throw me in an arm bar. I'm like, oh fuck.
But flow
You should
roll.
do dancing.
Flow roll.
Do Dancing with the Stars, because those people,
Yeah.
they do some stuff.
But definitely, like I said, I think once like my body gets more in great condition, all that stuff, yeah, the it's still up there. Like I said, I like to roll one day with Sean one day from Our Life CBD. I like to roll with you one day. I like to roll with Robert.
Don't
I like
roll
to
with Robert.
I like to roll with what's his name, Mike John one day. You
Roll
know,
with G.
roll with G. You know, I mean honestly. So
You're gonna roll with Mike John. Good luck there.
no, I'm saying just
He's
to,
running some stairs.
No,
for you,
but
buddy.
just to get a nice little. I mean, just to learn something. I know he's gonna tap the shit out of me. I may talk a lot of
Oh,
shit,
he's crazy,
but he's
man, I think.
he'll. I don't want to make sure you don't break my arm. I'll tap right away. When he gets that lock, I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Okay, speaking of arms, you look different. Physically, you look different. What does it do to your tattoos? Because your ink stretched. Is it okay when you retract?
Well, my arms never got. Okay, I'm a type of body that only got fat in this area.
Okay.
My arms never. I didn't have those big old fat people arms where they lose the weight. They have the cafeteria like, oh, they're waving. My arms always stayed the same size.
And you
It
don't
just-
have
it-
tattoos on your body?
Oh no, not yet. That's the reason why. Thank God I didn't get them because I wasn't gonna get a banner across my chest at a heavy weight. But thank God I didn't get it because now that I'm losing the weight, I mean, imagine that banner's gonna look like a torn up freaking
You'd had a pirate ship that turned into a dinghy.
a dinghy, pretty much. But you know, that's the reason why I'm kind of glad I didn't get the tattoo on my chest because I always wanted to get one on my chest. But now that I'm doing all this weight
Welcome
loss,
to California. And now it says, what?
walk. my titty fat just kind of sunk in.
What?
It's like the Mad magazine, you know, when you used to fold them.
That's good. I thought you were covered, so that's good. That you
Oh no. I'm waiting. But otherwise, everything's great. Like I said, I'm glad I'm losing this weight. My mentality is going back to where, not like back when I was in my 20s, but I'm getting ready to go back to how I used to be when I used to work out and be like on the go. Let's make it happen. It's not because, like I said, I'm going to correct myself again. It's not because I'm losing weight. I'm all about Mr. being healthy. It's me going back to my roots, and that's where I'm
Nice.
going right now.
Nice, Joey.
Do you feel like an older fellow can return to the younger version of
In
his-
my mindset, in my soul, I don't feel like I'm an older fellow body wise. I still have mentality as I can still do it. You know, I don't want to be like those guys where I'm like, oh, I'm 45, 46 years old or whatever. I'm like done. No, I mean, I'm still.
You're 46?
No, but I'm just saying I still have mentality of still rolling and still doing my thing. You know what I mean? That's the way it is. And like I said, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people can do it on their own, lose the weight on their own. There's a lot of people that needed help like me, and I needed the help, and that's what I did.
A little gray hair downstairs doesn't scare you.
Oh no, I don't think I'm gray down there. I
can't see it yet,
I'm
but when
pretty.
you do-
No, I can see it now.
You did see Pepe Le Pew?
Oh yeah, I can actually look down and see my pee-pee.
Oh, Pepe Le Pew?
Yeah, it waved to me. I'm like, hello, how you doing? I haven't seen you for a long time. I go, hey fella, how you doing? And start shaking his hand, and then you know.
Don't take too much, bro.
More than
Getting
two
back to the
shakes is
more-
something else.
And and honestly, I'm pretty hairless too.
Oh, the hair fell out already?
No, I mean I have no hair in my armpits, my arms, my legs. I have hair up here and maybe right here, but you know, not too much down there either. You know,
All right.
pretty good.
Now, Joey, you've been talking obviously a lot about mentality and returning to your younger self, and obviously getting back into working out and everything. And just one last little topic before we end out your segment here.
Yeah.
How would you say, you know, with you getting back into working out, with you kind of like you said, you're trying to return to mentality, how has been managing your said workload within your workouts been? You know, because obviously you're coming off, this is a pretty major surgery. Your body's still recovering. You're still getting used to your normal body and all its different ranges. You know, I'm sure like while you've been doing your workouts, you've been kind of at times surprising yourself, then also at the same time like having to pace yourself back for certain things at the same time. You know, like specifically, I'm sure with like more kind of like weighted exercise and kind of more stuff like that, you kind of have to pace yourself and know where your body's at physically right now versus like maybe like you said on your walks, you can kind of push your cardio a little bit. So
Yeah.
how has kind of been managing and been adjusting to this new body while also recovering from a surgery?
It's been very hard because I always wanted to push myself and doing like heavier weight, but I can't. So even like when I bought the 20-pound dumbbells, it's like oh my God, like they're really heavy to me. And so I have to be mindset thinking, okay, I can't do 45, but let me do with a 20 and let me get that strut going. Same with my walking. I walk at a certain pace, but I can't run right now because of the doctor hasn't cleared me for running yet.
Of course.
But going for the walking pace, even though I want to push myself, or there's times where, like there was one time I think somebody's car broke down and my lady's like, no, you can't help him because you're and me, I'm the type of person like getting out of the car and like pushing. And so there's a lot of stuff I got to mentally tell myself I can't do that yet because my body is not ready for that. And so right now right now I'm going at a slow pace, but at the same time I'm feeling the difference of when I go for walks, when I'm lifting weights, and I'm not heavy breathing, I'm not going crazy, I'm not like huffing and puffing, and it's awesome. You know?
Yeah, and sometimes also like the old saying goes, sometimes less is more, Joey. Especially when it comes to working out, you don't want to push yourself too quickly and re-injure yourself, like we had just stated. But it sounds like you're doing great work. It sounds like we've been enjoying like watching your journey the whole time. I know our fans have been inspired watching your fitness journey. I know I've been inspired watching your entire weight loss journey.
And I will be coming out with some videos in the future with me actually doing like activities and everything else, showing people like what I'm doing now, like from either hitting the bag to jumping rope. So there'll be videos like that coming out. But the one thing I want to bring up just to end this segment is what's going on with Jake fucking Paul. Tell me it's not true.
What?
About the sexual allegations that's going against him about some TikToker girl?
I have not heard about this.
Well, he's been accused for another TikTok influencer, allegedly being accused of sexually assaulting this girl. I guess the story is, according to the girl on her TikTok page, something Paradise, that's her name. She's well known out there. And she said that she went to his room and all they wanted to do was kiss. That's what she said. But allegedly, he had forced himself on her to attempt to get oral sex and blah, 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 blah. So now he has this fight coming up. I wonder if that's going to affect him anyway.
I would say yes and no, obviously. As we all know, and as we've talked before, like we've had plenty of guests come on before, we all know when it comes to fighters and dramas outside of it, it can definitely affect you in your fight and your fight camps and when you have a fight coming up. Especially with a guy like Jake Paul, who's not just a boxer, not just a YouTuber, he's involved in so many things. And now on top of it too, he has to have a scandal like this at probably potentially the height of his popularity, which also too kind of makes these situations like, very, very not black and white.
Yeah.
Because it's like, for one, you obviously want to listen to the victim. You want to hear that side of the story. And we want to obviously, seek out justice for in case something was done wrong and in case a young woman was sexually assaulted. Yeah. But at the same time, as we've seen before with other cases and, like celebrities and the old storyline goes, he's a young guy, successful, like I said, about to do one of the biggest boxing events probably in history.
Yeah.
I know every kid like my age, people younger, people that I know who are not even into combat sports have been talking to me about this boxing match.
There's more
just
eyes
because they
on
know
this,
I like it.
There's more eyes on this fight than any fight we have seen in the past 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Not even 2 to 3 years, probably within the last decade.
I don't know. With Conor and Floyd,
it's tough.
there was a lot.
There was.
I
I
think
will
there
give you
might
that.
be more eyes, like you said, because it's a whole different generation.
I think the difference here by the fact that, at least with Conor and Floyd, you had the two fans bases of boxing and MMA, and two of their biggest celebrities come together. So obviously you had the people who were maybe casuals or not even fan of combat sports come together because it was an event. But most people, they don't know Conor's backstory. You don't know Floyd's backstory. Most people don't remember Pretty Boy Floyd. Most people don't remember Mystic Mac and Double Champ and all that stuff.
All the YouTubers of the world know Jake Paul.
But all young kids, everybody, like I said, I was in middle school, like to high school, hearing about the Paul brothers. I've grown up knowing about the Paul brothers. Like that's celebrities to me, And so, and like I said, people that are not even into combat sports, friends that I don't even like, I know they don't watch fights, have been asking me who I think is going to win this fight and asking me to break down this fight.
And they actually want to watch it.
They want to watch it. That's what blows my mind. And on top of it too, it's actually not a bad card. Like there's some there's some interesting like matchups on there.
Yeah, but it's very unfortunate this allegations are going on. I know this girl's been holding this story for the past 3 years. Now she's finally coming out because it's been bugging her so bad. So, and like I said, I'm not sure if she's telling the truth. Like,
Don't you think that's timing?
It's
I mean,
timing,
it's a
but
little
it
bit of
reminds me.
timing.
Allegedly, we
but
can't really
Allegedly,
give. We can't say
allegedly.
anything much.
comments we make on this show in
Yes,
regards to this
but
situation is all alleged.
Alleged.
We
He's
provide
not guilty
no
of
facts.
anything at this point. So
but-
he's
Well,
got-
it's like
he's gotta
the whole.
fight.
It's like the whole story with Mike Tyson with that lady coming to his hotel room late at night at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and that's the whole thing that got him in trouble and got him sent to jail. It's like, come on. I mean, I don't know what to say. Like I said, I want to be like one of those guys. Oh, well, maybe she deserved it. I mean, no. I mean,
You never say that.
I never said that.
do not
No, I
say
never.
that.
No. We'll never say that. It's just funny that you have somebody that comes in your room at 3 o'clock in the
I
morning.
want this show to still be on YouTube.
No. I'm
tomorrow.
just saying people have
Please.
to their opinions, and I'm just saying that's
Hours worth of work,
that's what it
bro.
reminds me of when. No, that's what it reminds me of when Tyson, the whole situation with him,
Yeah.
and now it's happening with Jake Paul. That's all I'm
mean,
saying.
Just to give the last comment on that, just to answer your question,
Yeah.
and then we'll move on to my
To
amazing
the
bloody
UFC
breakdown.
card.
Yeah. I do think it is going to affect it by the fact that Jake Paul just has that amount of pressure on him, by the fact that, too, he's making this out to be boxing versus MMA, and he has to
Yeah.
prove that he's a legit fighter. But also on top of it, too, you have this big allegation of something, a big scandal, what people are going to pay attention
In
to.
a time when
distract you
scandals are
to.
bringing people down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're bringing people down. So that's a distraction against an opponent, a former Olympian of wrestling, a champion wrestler, which is, as we know, in my opinion, wrestling is the hardest college sport, probably one of the hardest sports in the history of man. So if you are in a,
Define the
an
Olympics.
All-American and have been to an Olympic qualifier, that's a different type of mentality. So this is not good
Yeah.
news. This is not great for Jake Paul.
So what's happening so far in UFC
All
world right now? What's
moving
happening?
on to this great UFC fight night. Robert Whitaker versus Kelvin Gastelum, the
What the
tough
hell?
28 coaches. A fight that I'm certainly excited for. Robert, if you could bring up that card for me.
We're
And
all
kicking
excited,
off
dude.
this card, Ricardo Ramos coming in at a plus 105 underdog versus Bill, Mr. Perfect Algeo, coming in at a minus 115 favorite. I'm really liking Ricardo Ramos for this fight. He's a really good kickboxer with good grappling. I believe he's coming out of Team Alpha Male. So, and as we've seen with that Team Alpha Male style, they're very level change heavy and very, very boxing heavy, and use a lot of just different and odd angles, while also too combining their kickboxing, I would say, to into that level change. Specifically, you could see with Chad Mendez, or even in Ricardo Ramos' specific transitions of where he's moving forward and he's pushing the pace and pushing the pressure to get his opponents against that cage. But he has enough grappling skill, to be able to get down and use that cage, take his opponents down, and then put in some slick submission skills. One of his top submissions, I believe, is his triangle choke. One of the things that I really enjoy seeing out of a fighter as well is when you see certain submissions of that they like to go to triangles, certain complicated chokes that are not just strength-based techniques, like a Kimura or anything.
Yeah.
Not that you don't need skill or technique to get a good Kimura, but it's not like I said, you don't have to, you can't muscle through a triangle, or
No
else
way.
you're just going to burn your legs out.
Of course.
And so he's got some very tricky submissions, and I really like his, just his style against Bill Algeo. Bill Algeo is kind of your atypical, just kind of taller fighter. I believe he's around 6 foot, I want to say, for the 145 division. On top of it, too, I want to say a former state champion wrestler. Good high-level wrestling, good, well-rounded fighter, grew up around martial arts and just grew up in a fight gym, but I do think just because MMA a lot of times and martial arts in general comes down to styles, and I think Ricardo Ramos has the perfect style to counter Bill Algeo's kind of more taller, lengthier, kind of more cardio-based style. What are you thinking, Joey?
I'm going from Ramos, man, all the way.
All the way.
All the
Going
way.
with the wrestle boxer on this one?
Exactly.
You're
That's the
sticking
reason
with
why.
Wrestling and boxing. That's going to be a big theme on this card. Moving on. Luis Pena coming in at a minus 145 favorite versus Alexander Munoz coming in at a plus 120 underdog. Another fighter out of Team Alpha Male, Alex Munoz. Another style with that kind of that wrestle boxer style. A difference between him and, like I said, you see a lot of that Team Alpha Male, fighters of that kind of wrestle boxer level change style that I really like out of Alexander Munoz. Is he has really crisp boxing, but he likes to use a lot of odd angles to using those level changes to kind of push that pace.
Yeah.
He's a little bit of an older fighter, I believe, at 32, I want to say, versus Luis Pena, who's kind of younger, more coming up guy. You know, I believe had his last loss was, I believe, against Kama Worthy. He got caught in a guillotine, unfortunately. But up until that, had great moments and has had some really competitive fights. On top of it, too, Luis Pena would, you know, along with him being a taller, longer fighter at 6'3" with a 75-inch reach for a 155-pound division, he's huge.
Yeah.
Tall for that division, man. But on top of it, too, he has really good grappling and wrestling skills. I believe he's a former state champ, you know, in high school, you know, on top of it, too. And he won his state title after getting in a car accident with a broken leg. So Luis Pena has a mind like a steel trap. You're not breaking this guy. He will kind of lead with his head a little bit and get a little long where, you know, like in that Kama Worthy fight where he got caught, which is where I can kind of worry if the fights get to the ground with Alexander Munoz kind of being a more craftier vet and liking kind of to push the pace, that Luis Pena could potentially kind of get caught up in that firefight and get a little bit sloppy. Although I do really like momentum on this one, and I really like his style and just how smart of a fighter Luis Pena has become. So I'm taking Luis Pena on this one.
I'm going for Alex Munoz with the takedown with a rear naked chokehold tap out all day.
Nice. I'm taking decision for Luis Pena. Robert, you got an input? Or
Violent Bob Ross.
Violent Bob Ross.
I gotta go with Violent Bob Ross.
I gotta go with Violent Bob Ross as well. Moving on to. Oh, I believe Robert has some input he would like to give us. Oh, all right. And then moving on to, I'm going to try my best. My boy Blake is friends with this guy, so I'm going to really try on this one. I mean, no disrespect. Abdul Razak Al Hassan.
There you go.
Woo! Versus Jacob Malkoun. This is a fight I'm really excited for. Very interesting, like, clash of styles. You know, striker versus grappler. Big KO power in Abdul Razak Hassan versus the good former ADCC champion, good MMA grappler, Jacob Malkoun. This is a fight I really like and a matchup I really like, considering both guys are coming off of knockout losses. So both guys, and when you see guys come off of knockout losses, the thing that I always worry about within their next fight is how recovered are their brains and how much more damage they take from their last guy and they're bringing in from the last fight than the other guy.
Yeah.
With this fight, both guys are coming in relatively healthy, coming in at the, you know, with not too much damage, probably not too much residual kind of like just damage from those former knockouts.
Yeah.
I really like Abdul Razak Al Hassan. I'm just going to say Abdul for the rest of this part. And just by the fact that, you know, if you look at Jacob Malkoun and how he kind of lost his last fight, he lost to a similar fighter in Philip Oz, where a guy who had like decent wrestling skills but really great KO power basically kind of was able to cut him off using that cage. Because with Jacob Malkoun being such a great grappler, but still learning the striking game and still kind of really learning his distance and cage control and just all those kind of little things that comes when you make that transition to MMA, is where I could kind of see he could get caught against a guy like Abdul, who's a proven striker with scary knockout power. We've seen him at 170, you know, sleep dudes. And he's coming in at, you know, fighting at middleweight where he's not going to have to cut much weight. So he's coming in, you know, probably get better cardio. He's not going to be as dehydrated, you know, and he's coming in ready, you know, motivated from that last loss because he could have done better. So I'm going with motivation and knockout power, Abdul Razak Al Hassan.
Well, you know what? I take 2 steps forward, you take 2 steps back. Opposites attract. Abdul all day.
Abdul all day. All right. Moving on. A fight I'm pretty excited for. A fight I didn't quite expect this matchup, but one when I looked into the X's and O's, a really fun matchup, especially if you're a fan of boxing, I would say. Andrei Arlovsky coming in at a -140 favorite versus Chase Sherman, who's coming in at a +115 underdog. I really like Chase Sherman on this fight. He's been really on, I believe, a 4-fight win streak. I believe he lost to, I want to say, he just lost to Junior Dos Santos, or beat Junior Santos. Brazilian dude. I can't quite remember his name. The one I forget. But, you know, he had unfortunately had that loss, got, you know, cut from the UFC, went on a 4-fight win streak, then also, on top of it, too, had a pretty good bare-knuckle boxing career with BKFC, and went all the way to the heavyweight title bout with Joey Beltran, their current heavyweight champion.
Wow.
So we know Chase Sherman's boxing is proven. And on top of it, too, he's not the biggest heavyweight. I wouldn't say he's a small heavyweight. He's more of just a regular, kind of more like a Stipe Miocic, Cain Velasquez, medium-sized heavyweight. Good size, 6'3", weighs in around like that 230, 240 era, you know, and on top of it, too, quick hands. quick hand speed and good distance and good range control. And I really, really like, his boxing style for a guy like Andrei Arlovsky, who we've kind of seen he's kind of in his last days. He's coming to the end of his career, as hard as it is to say for the Pitbull. Andrei Arlovsky, we remember him back in the day just being that, former champion, knocking out dudes, looking like scary dude. Now, he's got to change his style. He's got to be a little more decisive, a little more technical. He can't take too many shots. He's been knocked out a lot of times. That chin is not what it used to be. As we see a lot of times with heavyweights, as they get later on in their career, it's just, because, they're such big humans, they're so powerful, and the damage they're taking, when they kind of reach that end, you start to see the wheels fall off pretty quickly. And on top of it, too, I really like momentum. I really like, on top of it, the fact that Chase Sherman likes to use the cage and distance to back people up. And on top of it, too, we've seen Andrei Arlovsky, the last times he's been caught and had taken a lot of damage is against the cage and against in those clinch moves. So I'm taking Chase Sherman on this one.
Well, I love the old school. Love Andre. I mean, I remember one of the knockouts I've seen in the past is when he was trying to go in for a Superman punch and he got knocked out midair.
By Fedor?
Yeah, that was sad. But I'm still going for Andre, man.
You still going for Andre?
Yeah.
Robert?
Poor Andre.
Poor Andre.
Poor Andre.
Poor Andre.
I mean, he's a good vet, and I don't know too much about Chase.
This is actually one fight, if you were to take an underdog, I would definitely bet on Chase Sherman. He's, like I said, to go all the way to the BKFC final for a heavyweight title bout with Joey Beltran, a guy who's been doing really, really well within BKFC. And on top of it, too, you have like the perfect boxing style to counter Arlovsky, to back him up and kind of get that knockout. It's really pointing towards Chase Sherman. This is a good fight. If you want to bet and make some money on, put your money on Chase.
Yeah, I mean, Andrei Arlovsky, though, has been in his last 4 fights before the ones that he just got subbed recently, though. He has been looking pretty thought out and very, not engaging a lot. I mean, just trying to...
Technical.
Yeah, more protective of himself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's been squeaking decisions lately, So, I don't know too much about Chase. If Andre uses his, his veteran brain, maybe he'll try to squeak a decision out and maybe not engage, not give Chase that chance, Anyways.
All right, and then moving on, an exciting main event. We have the tough 28 coaches, 2 guys who were matched up actually for a world title, and now we're finally getting the fight. Robert Whitaker coming in at a -265 favorite versus KG Kelvin Gastelum, who's coming in at a +210 underdog. This is a fight I've been bouncing back and forth all day in my head. One that, it really only comes down to 2 factors. When you have 2 prospects that are just and contenders that are this good, we have a former champion. On top of it, too, we have a former tough winner against a tough coach, and they're both now coaching the same show that they both came up on. With it, too, an exciting fight style on top of it, too. We have Kelvin Gastelum, the wrestler with strong knockout power, who generates great whip to his punches. And we've seen have that amazing wars and great fights with dudes like Israel Adesanya, Chris Weidman, Uriah Hall, Jack Hermanson. Like, he's faced the best of the best, and he's been in the UFC for a long, long time since a young age. And on top of it, too, you have a guy like Robert Whitaker, former champion. You just saw him against Darren Till have a great technical striking bout against Darren Till and outstrike an amazing striker like Darren Till. On top of it, too, with him having that better speed and that better kind of range, and just at top of it, with his last fight, still growing the new skill set. You could see with those oblique and those side kicks, he's taking things from his first fight. Or from his first fight with Yoel Romero, and still learning even after becoming a champion, which is something I really love to see. And you're seeing that out of Gastelum too. His last fight, he completely changed his style. I believe he doubled his takedown percentage. And so this is a fight I've been bouncing around all day in my head, and what it really comes down to me and what really I think is going to make the difference in this fight, I think is going to be Robert Whitaker's speed. I really do think is what's going to win him the fight. And I do think as long as he can keep this fight at range and use his speed and just kind of keep using all his arsenal and his skills, I think he can go all 5 rounds and get the decision.
I'm definitely going for Kelvin. I think he's going to find a way to get around that range, do his takedown, and just demolish this guy.
All right.
That's my beliefs.
All right.
So, folks, this has been another great show of the Gym Crashers. Once again, we'd like to thank George from Hound Fuel. That's a bunch of samples so you guys can take home. Once again, Donda, where can they find you?
Donda the Gym Crasher on Instagram.
Adam.Araby on Instagram.
And once again, I'd like to thank one of our other huge sponsors that's in the house, Our Life CBD. Check out Sean, Our Life CBD. And Arm, Always Ready Meals. He actually hit me up today, asked how I was doing. And he says, if you need anything, hit me up. I'm like, dude, I'm going to take you for that. I'm going to take you, get some of that food. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Submission on the Shore. Can't wait for this. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, you can find me, Joey the Bull, on all the social media out there, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it's out there. I'm out there. Okay, so it's all